Hi and welcome to Gamemaker. Today I'm going to talk to you about the features in Gamemaker and then show you how to make your first game. So the first thing we're going to do is go to File, New, and that will give you a new platform to work on. Now after this I'm going to go to Rooms, which is located on the left hand side here. Right click and that will give you an option to create room. Now the room is where the actual level takes place, and this is all you need to run the game. To run the game, you can just click up the top here, run the game, and it will play the game exactly how you have it at the moment. So at the moment there is nothing in our game, so we've just got nothing here. And to get out of this, we'll just press the X here. But it's kind of handy to know that anytime you want, you can test the game with this play button. Next we have sprites, which are located here on the left hand side again. Sprites are images used for objects. So this is all our artwork. The art of the objects that will be in the game goes into sprites. And finally, the last thing we're going to talk about today is objects. Objects are what follows the actions that you tell it in the game, and it makes up the every part of the game. So what we're going to do is we're going to first create some sprites. So we're going to right click on sprites just like we did on rooms and go create sprite, and it'll come up with this menu. Now we're going to call this first sprite main guy, and what we can do is we can either load a sprite or create our own new sprite in edit sprite. If you go load sprite, you'll get a whole heap of options inside the Gamemaker, the Gamemaker's memory, the storage area. They have a lot of pre-saved sprites in here. So you can go to bouncing balls and there'll be a lot of bouncing balls and other sort of sprites which you can use. And feel free to use any of these, they're all easy to use and fine. But what we're going to do today is we're going to go to edit sprite, and it'll come up with another menu, and we're going to go new, and from here we want it to be 32 and 32. Okay, and it'll give us a sprite. And at the moment there's nothing in this sprite. So once again we're going to double click on this, and now we have the option to draw in our own sprite in this space. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go view, zoom in, and then I'm going to do it again just so I get a bit more space to work with. I'm going to go to this tool and just draw a circle as the sprite. Next I'm going to go to the line tool and just draw one line, holding down the mouse, and draw two lines. Now there's a paint bucket tool here. Click on this. I'm going to fill in this bit black just by clicking. And then I'm going to change its color over on the right hand side and have this as the yellow. So this is what our main guy sprite is going to look like. And when we're done with this, I'm just going to press tick, tick again, and now we have our main guy sprite. And OK. So now you'll notice this sprite appears here under the sprites menu. So we're going to create another two sprites quickly. So again, right click, create sprite. I'm going to call this wall, and edit sprite, create new sprite again, so you can go file new or just click here, 32 by 32, okay, double click on this image again, and then from here I'm just going to grab a square tool, rectangular tool, and just make a rectangle. And I'm going to fill this in again with the paint bucket tool. Grab a darker color, fill it in like that, and tick, tick, and OK. So now we've got a main guy sprite and a wall sprite. Now I'm going to right click and create one more sprite. So again, renaming this one to I'll call it Cherry, and edit, new, 32 by 32, OK, and then double click. And with this one, I'm just going to select red first, then the circle tool, just do a small red circle, and then I'm going to fill this in with a paint bucket, and it's just a red circle. Then tick, tick, OK. So now what we have here are 3 sprites, so a main guy, a wall, and a cherry. And it's time to turn them into objects. So what we first do on the objects folder again, we will right click, create object, and this first object will again be called main guy. And now underneath this we have an option for a sprite to attach to this object. So the object will be invisible unless you give it a sprite so that it can be seen. So we're going to attach the main guy sprite to this. And OK. And now we have an object called main guy as well. And I'm going to create objects for the wall and the cherry as well. So right click, create object, wall, and the wall. OK. And then one more, right click, create object, cherry, and then attach the sprite by clicking on the side here, cherry, and OK. Now, so we've got our 3 objects. What we can do now is in the room, on the left hand side here, object to add with left mouse, we can select an object with this option again. We can select the wall, and then whenever we click in the room, the object will appear. So I can click here and so on for each of these squares to make a wall. And I can keep doing that for the rest of the room. So at the moment the wall will still do nothing because it hasn't been told that it is a wall. So in order to do that, we go into its objects menu again. So underneath the objects on wall, we double click on that and we get this options menu again. And all we have to do for the wall is to click solid and then OK. So that's just telling the game that the wall is solid, so that you can't go through it. Now, our main guy is going to be a bit more complicated. We're going to double click on him, and we're also going to make the main guy solid, just so he can't go through the wall. Now, there are 2 other areas here. One is called events, and one is called actions. Under the events, this is what we tell the main guy to do. So we're going to tell him to move left, right, up, and down when we press the keys on the keyboard left, right, up, or down. So to do that, we go add event, keyboard, and then left, add event, keyboard, right, add event, keyboard, up, and add event, keyboard, down. So this is saying when left is pressed, it'll do whatever action we